Welcome back, coin collectors, to another exciting episode of Coin Discovery Old Zone. This coin 1965 1-cent coin. Today's video will explore its history, rarity, and why this coin is so valuable. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's jump into it. Before we get into the specifics of this rare coin, let's take a quick look at the 1965 1-cent coin. As you can see, this coin features Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and was designed by Victor David Brenner. The iconic design has been used on U.S. pennies since 1909, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, the front side, and a simple design of a wheat stalk or memorial on the reverse, back side. But the 1965 penny, well, it's not like any other regular penny. Now, most pennies from this year are worth just 1 cent, right? So what makes this 1965 penny worth such an astonishing amount? Let's break it down. The 1965 1-cent coin is usually worth just 1 cent. But there's a specific error coin that makes this penny a highly sought-after collectible. The 1965 penny is famous for a unique minting error. You see, during this time, the U.S. Mint was transitioning from using 90% copper to a copper-nickel alloy for pennies. However, some pennies were mistakenly struck with the old copper composition, giving them a much heavier weight and a slightly different appearance compared to the regular copper-nickel ones. This specific error coin, known as the 1965 copper penny, has intrigued collectors for decades. Why? Well, because it was never meant to exist. It's one of those rare oops moments in coin history that turned into a treasure for numismatists and collectors. Now, let's talk about rarity. You may wonder how often such coins are found. The 1965 copper penny is considered extremely rare, with only a handful of them known to exist today. According to most estimates, there are fewer than a dozen examples of the coin in private collections or on the market. That's what makes it so valuable. One of the most famous discoveries of a 1965 copper penny happened when a coin collector named Jim C. discovered one in the 1990s. The coin, in near-perfect condition, was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping price of $45,700. And that's how it gained its legendary status. Since then, collectors have been hunting for any more of these elusive error pennies, and their prices have steadily risen. Now, you may be wondering, how do experts and collectors determine the value of a coin like this? Well, the value of rare coins is usually influenced by a few key factors: rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance. For example, even though the 1965 penny itself is not particularly rare in circulation, the copper error pennies are incredibly scarce. Their unique nature drives demand in the collector's market, which is why they can fetch such high prices. To add to that, the condition of the coin also plays a huge role. Coins are graded based on their wear and tear, with terms like good, fine, very fine, and mint state. Coins in near-perfect condition are valued higher, especially if they retain their original shine and details. The 1965 copper penny that sold for $45,700 was in fantastic shape, making it more desirable to buyers. Alright, so you may be wondering how you can spot a 1965 copper penny. It's important to note that there's no easy way to visually identify one unless you're really familiar with the subtle differences between copper and copper-nickel. One way to check is by using a magnet. The copper-nickel pennies from 1965 are magnetic, while the copper pennies will not be. This is a great first step if you suspect you might have found one, but remember, if you're serious about finding out if your 1965 penny is one of the rare copper examples, you'll need to have it professionally examined and graded. A reputable coin grading service can verify whether it's a true copper penny, which will make all the difference in its value. So, what if you find one of these rare coins? How do you sell it? And where can you get the best price? The most common places to sell rare coins are through online auction sites, coin dealers, and professional numismatic events. However, you should be prepared to show proof of its authenticity, whether it's through a grading certificate or a professional appraisal. One of the best places to sell high-value coins is through reputable auction houses that specialize in rare coins. These places have the expertise and audience to ensure you get the best prices. So, that's the story of the 1965 copper penny that could be worth over $45,000. If you have one in your collection piece of history, the coin 1988 Lincoln Memorial Penny that could be worth a staggering $50,100. Yes, you heard that right. If you're a coin collector, investor, or simply curious about rare finds, this video is for you. Stick around to learn about this coin's history, how it became so valuable, and how you could find a treasure like this one. Hey, coin lovers. I'm your host, and today we're going to break down the story of a penny that seems like an ordinary coin, but in the world of numismatics, it's far from ordinary. So let's jump into it first. Let's talk about the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Penny itself. This coin was minted as part of the ongoing series that honored Abraham Lincoln. It features Lincoln on the obverse, the front side, with the familiar memorial building on the reverse, the back side. It's made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, just like most of the pennies from this time. Now, let's take a step back in time to understand the significance of this coin. The Lincoln Memorial Penny was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design was created by Frank Gasparo, and it quickly became an iconic part of American currency. However, it's not the standard 1988 penny that we're focusing on today. It's a rare, uncirculated specimen with unique errors or characteristics that could be worth over $50,000. Before I tell you exactly what makes this penny so special, let me ask, have you ever found a coin that looked a little off? A misprint, or maybe something different about the design? That's where the magic happens. For some reason, a very small number of 1988 pennies were released into circulation with a rare error that drastically increased their value. The most valuable of these coins have been found to have a double die error. This means that during the minting process, the die used to stamp the coins malfunctioned. This results in doubled images on the coin, which is especially noticeable on the lettering or the date. It's a flaw in production, but one that's incredibly sought after by collectors. Here's an example of what that looks like. You can clearly see the doubling on the date and letters. It's subtle, but when you compare it to a regular 1988 penny, you can tell the difference right away. Now, how rare is this? Not every 1988 penny has this error, not even close. In fact, only a very small number were ever produced with this double die flaw. So, how much could one of these be worth? Amazingly, one of these rare 1988 double die pennies was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $50,100. It might sound unbelievable, but for dedicated coin collectors, this type of flaw is pure gold. It's proof that even the smallest mistakes can turn a humble penny into a rare treasure. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How can I find one of these coins? Well, the key is to examine every 1988 penny you come across very carefully. If you spot the doubling error, you could be holding something worth thousands of dollars. To check for the double die error, closely inspect the date on your 1988 penny. Look for signs of doubling or ghost images on the digits. The letters in Liberty and In God We Trust are also common spots to look for this type of flaw. A magnifying glass or even a digital microscope can really help you spot these subtle errors. If you don't have one, I highly recommend getting one for your coin collection. It's a small investment that could make a huge difference. Once you find a rare coin, you might wonder, how do I sell it? Well, there are plenty of online platforms like eBay, or even local coin dealers who specialize in rare errors. But remember, the condition of the coin matters too. A coin that's in mint condition will fetch a higher price. Just look at this 1988 penny. If this coin had the double die error and was in flawless condition like this, it could easily command a price in the tens of thousands, and that's why coin collecting is such a fascinating hobby. It's a blend of history, luck, and a keen eye. Whether you're into collecting for the thrill of the find or as an investment, rare coins like the 1988 double die penny show us that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones that seem ordinary at first glance. Piece of history. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Coin Discovery Old Zone. See you next video.